Okay, so like have you ever been, scrolling on your phone and then boom, there's an ad for like those shoes you were just looking at online?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little creepy, right?
A little bit, yeah.
But that's AI at work, and it's just like a tiny little peek into how this technology is like finding its way into almost like every single part of our lives.
Totally.
So today we are going on a deep dive into the why behind like this AI explosion. We're really zeroing in on the forces that are driving all the investment just flooding into this whole sector.
Right.
So our guide for this deep dive is this report. It's called Investment: The Fuel for AI Growth.
Okay.
And it's from Haptic. Now, have you heard of Haptic before?
I have. Yeah, they're doing some really interesting stuff, connecting businesses with like cutting edge research.
Exactly. They're all about like spotting those emerging trends. Right.
Yep.
So their big takeaway is AI isn't just like, I don't know, some like passing trend in tech. This is here to stay.
For sure.
They say it's going to be like the foundation for like future innovation.
Huge.
Absolutely. In fact, get this, they are projecting that by 2025, the AI market could hit like $200 billion.
Wow, that's a big number.
That's a massive number.
Yeah.
To put it like into perspective, that's basically like the entire GDP of like Portugal.
Really?
We're not kidding around here.
No.
We're not just talking about, lines of code anymore.
Right.
This is a massive like seismic shift in how the global economy works.
Yeah.
So what's like driving this mad dash, this gold rush towards AI, right?
What's the fuel?
What's the fuel? Well, Haptic, they've identified 3 like major drivers,
Okay.
and they are mind-blowing advances in technology, and then the just massive like economic potential, and then there's this like really interesting kind of market dynamic, almost creates this like self-perpetuating cycle of investment.
Right. It's like a snowball effect almost.
Yeah.
It seems like it all kind of plays off each other. Right.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it so like fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we break down each one of those drivers?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start with the tech side.
Okay.
So we're seeing these huge breakthroughs in machine learning.
Right.
And the easiest way to think about that is like we are basically giving computers a crash course in how to learn from just massive, massive amounts of data. Like imagine if you had to make sense of like all the traffic patterns in like New York City.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Your brain would like short circuit.
Yeah, for sure.
But AI, it can take all that data and it can analyze it. It can find those trends, those patterns that would take us like years, lifetimes to uncover.
Oh, for sure.
It's amazing.
It's wild. So instead of like having to program computers for like every single little task, right? We're teaching them to learn.
Exactly.
To adapt on their own. It's like, I don't know, it's like training a dog to fetch, but like on a much, much larger scale.
Exactly. And it's all driven by data, right?
Yes.
And that ability to learn from data, that's the key.
Yeah.
That's what's letting AI like tackle challenges that we used to think it was impossible.
Yeah.
It was impossible for a computer to do. Right.
Like take something like medical diagnoses.
Okay, yeah.
AI can analyze medical images now, things like x-rays, MRIs, with an accuracy that rivals and sometimes even surpasses trained professionals.
Oh, wow.
It's really incredible.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like, I don't know, crunching numbers. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It's not just about like automating those tasks that we find, tedious. It's about like taking what humans can do and being like, how can we make this even better?
Like augmenting.
Augmenting, yeah, exactly.
Our own abilities.
In ways that we like never thought possible.
Yeah.
Which I think leads us perfectly into like that economic engine.
Driving all of this AI investment surge because, I mean, let's be real, right? Businesses aren't jumping into this just because it's like, oh, this is cool, new tech. They see dollar signs.
Oh, absolutely.
They see those returns.
It's about the bottom line. And the report, they actually highlight the potential for AI to boost global productivity, like significantly.
Wow.
We're talking about, making operations way more efficient, optimizing supply chains. We're even talking about like personalizing customer experiences,
yeah.
in ways that like we couldn't have even imagined before.
Right.
And all that just means big, big potential profits.
Yeah, for those businesses that are willing to, take that risk, that are willing to invest.
Yeah, early adopters, right?
Exactly.
They always seem to reap the biggest benefits.
Right, right. So we've got this like potent mix of really cool technology, like mind-blowing technology, and then these like crazy economic incentives, which then leads us to that third driver, right?
Right. Yeah.
The market dynamics. It's
Yeah.
like every other day there's another headline about some like massive company
I know.
pouring millions, billions sometimes into AI.
It's crazy.
It's like a snowball effect, right?
Yeah, it is. It's almost like, I think, more of a chain reaction, though.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the more companies that are like, you know what, we're doing this AI thing, and then they start seeing actual results,
Yeah.
it puts pressure on everybody else to be like, well, wait a minute, we got to get on this.
Right, right. You don't want to be left behind.
Nobody wants to be left behind, especially when it seems like those first movers.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are going to get those like massive rewards.
Right, exactly.
And then that just creates this self-fulfilling prophecy.
Totally, yeah.
More investment, more development, faster adoption.
And then it builds on itself.
It just keeps growing.
So it's like this very high stakes game of like technological leapfrog.
That's a great way to put it.
And no one wants to be like stuck on the ground,
Yeah.
when everyone else is like, see ya.
Exactly.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Right, yeah.
We've talked about kind of like where the money's going.
Yeah.
But now let's really dig into like, how is it actually being used to like shape the AI landscape?
I'm interested. Let's get into the details.
Yeah, let's unpack that. We'll be right back after this quick block. And we're back. All right, so before the break, we were like mapping out the forces behind this AI gold rush, right?
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating stuff.
Right. Now let's zoom in on where all this money is actually going.
Okay, so the Haptic report, it points to two main areas, hardware and software.
Makes sense.
So think about it this way, okay? If you want to train an AI, like let's say to write a poem or even compose a whole symphony, right?
Okay.
You got to feed it tons and tons of data. I mean, imagine every poem, every symphony ever written.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of data.
So to process and make sense of all that information, you need some serious computing power.
It's kind of like trying to run, I don't know, like a high-end gaming PC on like dial-up internet, you know?
Exactly. You might have the software, but if the hardware can't handle it,
It's a no-go.
exactly. So we're talking like purpose-built processors here,
Okay.
specialized chips designed specifically for AI workloads. It's a whole new ballgame.
Super interesting. And then you've got the software side of things too, right?
Oh, absolutely. You need the algorithms, those neural networks, and all the complex code
Yeah.
that actually allows AI to, learn, adapt, perform all those almost like magical things.
Right, right. It's not just about the hardware. So investors are basically putting their money on both the hardware and the software, right?
Yeah.
Because they realize those two have to work together to like really make the magic happen.
Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship, but it's not all about, ones and zeros, right?
What about the impact?
What's it all going to look like?
Right. Yeah. What kind of real world impact are these investments expected to have?
Well, the report, it actually gives a pretty specific prediction. It says that AI-related investment could reach something like 2% of the global GDP in the coming years.
2% of global GDP. That sounds like something you'd hear an economist say. Like, what does that even mean in like real world terms?
Okay, good point. Think of it this way. Imagine entire industries transformed.
Okay.
Healthcare, for example.
Yeah.
AI-powered tools that can diagnose diseases way earlier than we can now,
Wow.
or even create personalized treatment plans based on your own unique genetic makeup.
That's amazing.
It is. Or picture factories, where robots are working right alongside humans.
Oh, wow.
Their every move guided by AI to maximize efficiency, minimize waste.
It's like that perfect harmony,
Yeah, exactly. And we're not talking about small incremental changes here. This is a fundamental shift in how we live, how we work, how we interact with the world.
It's exciting, but also a little like,
Overwhelming.
yeah, a little bit. Like we're talking about reshaping the world as we know it.
Right. And with that comes a whole other conversation.
Okay, so we've talked about like the what and the why behind all this AI investment. But
Okay.
like, let's get real for a second.
Yeah, let's bring it down to earth.
Exactly. Let's say you're listening to this and you're like, not a tech investor.
Right.
You're not like a coder. You're not knee deep in algorithms all day.
Right.
What does this actually mean for you?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And I think here's the thing. AI, it's not just tucked away in some like Silicon Valley lab anymore.
Right. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's weaving itself into everything we do. And this wave of investment, That's just going to make that happen even faster.
So it's less about becoming like an AI expert and more about just like being aware.
Being AI aware, exactly.
Understanding how this technology could change like our fields, our careers, even just like our daily routines.
Exactly. And Haptic makes a great point about that in the report. This isn't just like a signal for the tech giants or, venture capitalists.
Yeah.
This is a call to action for everybody.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
We are. The more we understand AI, what it can do, what it can't do, the better equipped we'll be to handle the changes it brings. And also to really use it to our advantage.
Okay, so where do we even start? I mean, it's easy to feel kind of overwhelmed. There's so much information out there about AI and honestly, a lot of misinformation too.
It's true. It's true. The best place to start is just with your own curiosity. What are you interested in?
Yeah.
What gets you excited about AI? Are you fascinated by what it could do for healthcare,
Right.
education? Maybe you're more into the philosophical side of things. What does it mean when machines are getting smarter and smarter?
Right. Those are some big questions.
Good questions. But whatever it is, just dive in and explore. There are so many resources available these days. Online courses, articles, podcasts like this one.
Of course.
All about making AI more accessible to everyone.
It's about staying curious, right? Asking questions, not just taking things at face value.
Exactly. Always be learning, always be adapting. Knowledge is power.
Right.
Especially now.
100%. Well, on that note, a huge thank you to Haptic.
Yeah, they've done some really interesting work.
Absolutely. For painting such a vivid picture of the forces that are shaping the AI revolution. And for our listeners, if you want to learn more about Haptic's work, head over to their website. We'll put the link in the show notes.
Definitely check it out.
And as for us, we'll be back next time with another deep dive into a topic that's sure to get those brain cells firing.
Always a good time.
Until then, keep those questions coming, keep exploring, and most importantly, never stop learning.